Mahoning County Commissioners meeting, regular meeting number 6, Thursday, February 10th, slightly after 10, with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. It's a little bit warmer out. Thank the Lord. So we'll start with public comments. Does anyone have any public comments? Okay. Seeing none, we'll begin the meeting. Approval of the previous minutes of board meeting number 5, February 3rd, 2022, and approval of bills for payment. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call.
Commissioner Trafficant.
yes.
Commissioner Ditzler.
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati.
Yes. Number 1, legal notices, O&B grants. Anna? Anna? You're mute?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Good morning, commissioners and everybody. This is the notice of public hearing number 1 for Mahoning County fiscal year 2022 Community Development Block Grant Program and the CHIP program that is operated through the lead department. And this meeting will be held on Thursday, March 10th at 11 a.m. in the commissioners hearing room.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Do I hear a motion, legal notices?
Motion to approve legal notices number 1.
Second,
Roll call.
Commissioner Trafficant.
yes.
Commissioner Ditzler.
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati.
Yes, journal entries number 1. Do I hear a
Motion to approve journal entries number 1.
Second,
roll call?
Commissioner Trafficant.
yes.
Commissioner Ditzler.
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati.
Yes. Number 2, agreements A through J. Auditors A and B.
Stacy.
Ralph, Stacy.
Letter A is an agreement with Lake Business Products for 2 of our copiers in the auditor's office for service, maintenance, and supplies. Estimated amount of $1,500 for the general fund. And letter B is our annual agreement with the auditor, State of Ohio, to audit the county's basic financial statements for fiscal year 2021 in the amount of $136,079 from the general fund.
Okay, thank you.
Wow, you're so colorful, Stacy. I love it.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Egging on the spring, come on.
I'm with you.
I wish it was here.
I know.
C and D, Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Good morning, everyone. Letter C is an agreement with Getaways on Display, which handles the literature distribution on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. So David, I know you want us to be there in displaying our travel guides in high volume bins in the service plazas on the PA Turnpike. And letter D is an agreement with Crossings Magazine, getting back on track post-COVID. This is a Canadian publication, and we do have a lot of visitors that come to this area from Canada. So we'd like to advertise in their spring issue, $2,000, non-general.
Okay, thank you. And E through G, engineers, Pat?
Morning, everybody. Letters E and F are both for material testing services. Letter E is with ACA Engineering and letter F is with PSI, Professional Services Industries. They're both local testing companies that we utilize on all of our construction projects to ensure that all the materials meet specification. They're both in the amount of $49,999 non-general funds. Letter G is an agreement with Enertech Electrical. This is for the removal and replacement of a malfunctioning light on the First Street Bridge in the estimated amount of $3,000, also non-general funds.
Yeah, can I ask a question about the lighting on the bridge? We discussed that before, right? About like the Market Street Bridge and all the bridges that have the lighting. Who's in charge of all of the lights that are on the bridge?
That's
Like-
not a simple answer. Some of it depends on if it's within a city or not within a city. Some of them are ours, some of them, the power company owns them and maintains them. We pay the electric bill. Some they're maintained by us. So it's not a simple,
They're not like in a lighting district or anything like that.
no.
Because I had something with the Peanut Bridge. And I called Troy Rhodes to let him go through and see what needed.
We
where
also have some of
everything-
the turnpike bridges we're looking at having lighting put on, especially on Turner Road. Now that they closed the center gap, it's almost like driving through a tunnel.
Oh, wow.
So we're going through discussions with them. It's been brought up by several residents, some of the trustees as well. So the turnpike's been pretty open about the discussion. So like I said, I apologize. It's not a simple answer.
Well, that's all right. You gave us some of it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Jobs and Family Services is H.
Good morning, Commissioners. Audrey, Nancy. Letter H, Job and Family Service Amendment Number 1 with YMCA for Youth Development Program to replace Exhibit 2 at no change in the amount of $400,000 from the non-general fund.
Okay, thank you, Audrey. I, Sanitary, Pat.
Commissioners, letter I is an agreement with Savannah Springs. This is to provide water delivery services to various locations. The estimated amount is $1,661 with renewal options, and these are non-general funds.
Okay, thank you, Pat. J, Treasures. Jimmy?
This is just their agreement to maintain their Canon check canister, $4,150. It is general fund.
Okay, thank you. Number 2, agreements A through J. Do I hear a motion?
A motion to approve agreements A through J.
Second,
Roll call?
Commissioner Trafficant.
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler,
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati.
Yes. Number 3, change orders, lead, A and B.
Is an agreement with American Pinnacle Construction for a change order at 165 Maywood in the amount of $750 for some unforeseen lead items. And B is a change order with American Pinnacle for some healthy homes work at 1704 Oak Hill in the amount of $1,800, both non-general.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Number 3, change orders A and B. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve change orders A and B.
second,
Roll call?
Commissioner Trafficant.
yes,
Commissioner Ditzler,
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati.
Yes. Number 1, resolutions additions. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve resolutions additions number 1.
second,
Roll call?
Commissioner Trafficant.
yes,
Commissioner Ditzler,
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati.
Yes. Number 2, resolutions A through F. Commissioners and O and B, A and B, and C. Audrey?
Commissioners, item A is a resolution to approve expenditures with the following funded by the American Rescue Plan Act for the following sewer infrastructure projects, sanitary engineering department amount of $2,986,000. And I was going to have Pat explain those projects and what he's bringing to the commissioners.
Commissioners, thank you first off for the support, generous, I don't want to call it a donation, but enabling us to accelerate these projects. If you notice on the list of projects that we have, all but one of these projects are near and flowing towards a drinking water source. So the North Turner Road, Lake Evans, Burgess Run, New Springfield, Coatesville projects all flow towards a drinking water source. In a lot of discussions with the Ohio EPA, they've encouraged us to try to be progressive and proactive. So we identified these areas. This money will enable us to get the design done so we can pursue funding a lot faster than the normal process that we go through. So by having projects shovel ready and designed, the EPA has even extended the arm of helping us find funding as well, which again, I think speaks volumes on the relationship that we've developed with the Ohio EPA and the Sanitary Engineering Department. The Ellsworth Sanitary Sewer Extension is going to enable the Ellsworth Township trustees in conjunction with the Mahoning County Sheriff's Office Depot expand that building to provide more services for that outpost. So I think that's a critical project as well. So again, this money is going to go towards design so we can aggressively go after funding and get these projects built a little quicker than the normal process. Let me just stay up here.
Might as well.
Item B.
You might as well, Pat.
Item B, Commissioners, is a resolution to allocate 10 million of the American Rescue Plan funding for revenue replacement and provide of governmental services in accordance with final rule and rescind and replace resolution 21-11-034 adopted by on November 23rd, 2021 for $4,535,552. This brings the county's total revenue replacement to the 10 million, which is allotted without going through the formula. And so we're swapping one for the other. That money gives the commissioners a lot more flexibility and more things that they can do with the funds. And that's why the commissioners elected to go up to the 10 million to expand what they can do with the funding. Item C is a resolution in relationship to that 10 million to transfer funds for the American Rescue Plan Standard Allowance Rescue Revenue Replacement to the Road and Bridge
Say that 10
Fund.
times fast.
I know, Road and Bridge Fund to support the following in the amount of 1,500,000. And Pat can speak on those projects that he's brought forward to the commissioners in order to establish a commissioners bridge program.
Again, commissioners, I can't thank you enough for the continued support in talking with the other county engineers across the state. I don't think there's any board of commissioners that support their engineer's office more than you three. And this is just another example. You know, we've got several bridges that are designed and ready to go to construction, and several that need to be designed, which will again help us accelerate the construction. The bridges that are listed in the design contracts, Strother State Street Bridge, Youngstown Early Road, Lansdowne, Spring Commons, and the Market Street deck repairs. These are all within city limits. We fully intend to use sales tax revenues to construct these projects, but to construct them, you have to have the design completed. So by accelerating that design, we're going to be able to start these projects possibly this year, most likely next year. Just depends on how quickly we can get through the design. But this is going to certainly speed up that program, which again is greatly appreciated. And I know the community is going to certainly be happy with that. The bridge replacements that we have, which is the first line, Lipke Road Bridge in Jackson, Middletown Road Bridge in Goshen, and Leffingwell Road Bridge in Canfield. We already have these bridges designed, and we're looking for funding to try to get them constructed as well. So again, these are some of our worst bridges in the county, and we've been fortunate that our bridges are not in a state of disrepair that we have to close any bridges. So that just speaks volumes of the previous engineers, my predecessors. You know, our bridge program's always been very robust and very strong, and your support enables us to continue with that mantra. And, you know, it's very difficult for us finding enough funding, especially for our bridges. You know, roads are one thing, you know, paving a road seems simple, but there's a lot of ancillary work that goes into it. A bridge is way more complicated and way more expensive, and it's not as easy sometimes to get funding on some of these bridges. So again, we certainly appreciate the support, and I commend the three of you for always keeping us in your sights.
And Pat, I'd like to say some, I'm sure Dave and Anthony would as well. But, you know, the people of Mahoning County should be proud of what your office and you as the engineer, Pat Giannetti, and the three of us has done for Mahoning County. What we're trying to do is we're answering the call of what the people in our county want. And what do they want? Safety, roads, bridges. These are all the things that as a group and a team with Audrey Tillis, our OMB director and our administrator, we're able to put together a plan that affects everybody in Mahoning County and gives them everything they need to be safe and to be proactive instead of reactive. That's not the team that we have here. And I've always been like that, and I know my colleagues have. Proactive approaches to the roads and the bridges and the safety of our people is what we've always done. And I want to thank you for that. It's been a long time since we were able to really put something together where we could actually go out into the community, because roads And bridges are like, I mean, they're millions.
Well, this is just another example of forward thinking. And again,
Right.
this is something that, just in speaking with other engineers, not every county has that. And, we may disagree at times, and money's always a sore subject because, the infrastructure, everybody knows we don't have the resources that I wish we had. But in today's day and age, it seems like the infrastructure bill that's out there is going to provide more money. Your continued support of our office, understanding the shortfalls that we have, with, I guess the evolution of these electric cars, the gas tax is going to drop and it's going to continue to drop. The license plate fees, those are all driven by population. So if our population goes down, our base goes down. So, to have forward thinking, to have people that are, like me, that same old doesn't always work.
Right.
And that's one of the answers I've always hated. We've always done it this way. And that's the one thing, like I said, I commend you three that you welcome that approach of trying to find a better way to do something, stretch the dollar without cutting corners. And that's something that I've always prided myself on, is working hard and trying to find that solution that may not be the obvious or how we've always done it.
I give credit to our crew here. I call it our team here. Because when the state is always cutting us and not giving us our true amount to the population that we have for your office and splitting it equally among all counties is not fair to the residents of Mahoning County.
No,
really.
just the way
just
the
not
grant
fair.
funds are distributed. I know all of us have had the discussions, how they're almost geared more for urban, and sometimes the rural parts suffer. And again, with the passage of the sales tax, with, again, your continued support of both of the departments, we are very progressive and proactive, and there's going to be a lot of activity. And, there's going to be a lot of complaints because of the amount of construction and the temporary delays, but that's progress. Construction means progress. It means jobs. It means growth. And in just a short few years, our infrastructure is going to make a complete 180 where, good roads, good bridges, good sewer and water brings business, keeps business. So we're in a good position right now to bring a lot of good things to this community.
Thank you, Pat. Anthony, Dave?
Well, I just follow up to what Carol Ann, Pat have said so far. What my soapbox has been forever is that every year we continue to be decimated from the state of Ohio, the state legislature. I mean, we have lost over $20 million a year of funds. In 17, when they cut our MCO funds, it was $9 million. Today, it was estimated this year would have been over $14 million. $14 million more collected into Mahoning County from the MCO funds that did not come from the state's budget. The state maintained their portion of the MCO funds. And at that time in 17, I believe it was 400 million, the state's portion. Today, the state's portion is 750 million, and all 88 counties in the state of Ohio get zero. And that 14 million today into our budget would have been monies that we could be proactive on and that aren't there any longer. And now today, we have to do things that are unique and creative, like sales tax for roads, like thank God the federal government this year stepped in with ARP funds and gave us monies to be able to handle infrastructure, because everybody knows that if the roads are good, your houses are nicer, everything's nicer. You do roads, you do bridges, you do infrastructure. I mean, there's never been an ability with excess funds in local government's coffers to be able to upgrade infrastructure. And now with our funds from the federal government, we can. And if the state quit cutting our funds, we could maintain. But every year we're filling a hole that the state creates by taking more money off us. Look, we're doing CDBG. It used to be several $1 million. Today it's 200,000. It used to be every year. Now it's every other year. And the things that just continue to be piled on local governments is atrocious. And the gas tax. I mean, so we raised the gas tax, but have you seen a great increase? No, because what did they do? They voted to do it in a distribution that continues to be unfair, to divide it equally. So Columbiana has 80 miles of roads. They get the same amount as Pat does for 480 miles of roads. You know, and I remember as a trustee in Austintown 25 years ago, we sued the state for the allocation process because they distributed equally among all townships. You know, when we had 10 times the population, 10 times the registered motor vehicles of the count of the townships getting the same amount. They said, you're right. You know, but the solution is the state legislature changing the formula to make it fair and equitable, which they never have. So, you know, the state piles on. Thank God the federal government has given us an opportunity to bail ourselves out and to do things proactively. And the relationship we have, you know, as a government, you know, is the way it's supposed to be. You know, it's all local. When at the end of the day, you know, nobody calls me on the phone that's complaining about roads or potholes or flooding or sanitary or whatever and said, you know, are you a Democrat or Republican? They just say, how can we fix the problem? You know, and
I
you know,
think
and
the
it's-
three
it's
of us
all
are
about
all the
local.
same, where we take this so personally, especially with the funding, that you can see the emotions when things are not going right or when they are. But like I said before, we may disagree on things, but our hearts are all in the right place. And if I'm not yelling at you or laughing with you, something's wrong.
Oh,
And it's the same. I can attest to these two. I don't know about him. Anthony's never raised his voice.
He does yell at us. Dave and I, Dave and I are like the bad kids. We always get it.
well, Pat and I are too much alike. That's why we scream at each other. But he lives too close to me because I end up sitting on his back porch waiting for him to come home.
Oh, Jesus. Does he really?
I'm not gonna comment.
Oh, my God, help you. Anthony?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with Carol and Dave and Pat. You know, you've done a great illustration. And you've done that since you've been the county road engineer about how important these projects are. And the people got to remember, these have been on the drawing board for ages. And through these initiatives, and as Pat says, forward thinking, you know, we've been able to move Mahoning County light years ahead, as opposed to where we would have been if these funds, if this planning was not in place. We would still be talking about, well, we can only pay 14 miles a year. That bridge costs too much money. We can't get any grant funds. We're always waiting for the state and federal government, and it never happens. Like Dave said, all the cuts that local governments have sustained over the last 8 years was detrimental. If those funds were still in our coffers, we could have accomplished a lot more. And I always hate to equate things to dollars and cents, but honestly, when you look at these projects, there's no other way to fix these projects. There's no other way that we can move ahead in the county to fix our infrastructure, because charity begins at home. The ARPA funds have been great. You know, I've always said, I don't know why the federal government doesn't do this every 5 years. Come to us, ask our engineer, what projects do you have? How much money? And it's very easy for them to send funds overseas to all the countries that honestly, I don't know what we get out of it, but it's time we start investing back home, and you can see it. With these ARPA funds, Mahoning County commissioners, through our administrator and us and our engineer, we're now able to put these on a drawing board and say they're going to be finished. And like the gas tax, you know, the sales tax that we have to do paving, Pat says it's going to make a 180-degree turn in this county, and people are going to see it. Yeah, it'll be frustrating. It's going to be a lot of construction, but it's time. So I'm just happy to be part of this team. And Pat, thank you for getting all these projects lined up and getting this design in place. My compliments. to you.
Kudos to you.
You have a
Yeah.
great crew over there. too.
Yeah,
You do.
And if you don't
Good
mind,
engineers.
Yep.
I gotta say, our road department's done a bang up job this year. They've done much better. I think,
Snow here.
not bragging, but I think this is the best they've done since I've been in office. And we've noticed the difference, the attitudes, the demeanor, the work ethic is really drastically improving. And I think that's, you know, attributed to your leadership, my leadership, consistency, and the crews are seeing the aggressive nature of going after these projects and trying to get them done. And, you know, when I got elected, I said, you know, it's my job to get these roads fixed regardless of how many people drive on it or what condition. If it's bad, it needs fixed. And, you know, the residents supported us by voting the sales tax in, and we're going to show them. And I think, like I said, it's going to make a 180-degree change, and we're going to be in a great position to bring a lot of economy here.
Yep, I
Yeah, it
can't, I
is.
mean, this is just, and I think when we
Again,
do
and it's
the
not just
first-
me. I'm only the face on the map. There's a lot of people that work there that they understand, when things are going right, how we are, and when things are going wrong, they know who they're going to deal with. And like I said, it seems like the whole demeanor of the department has made a change for the better. And everybody's getting along, everybody's happy, and the guys are really busting.
They are.
And I can't commend them, enough. Like I said, the roads were, these last couple storms were really challenging. The amount of snow,
Oh, my God.
volume,
Tell me
the
about it.
last one was heavy, a lot of freezing rain.
That ice.
That was a major challenge.
Yeah.
and-
Well,
and
I
they
gotta
did a
tell
nice
you
job.
something, Mahoning County, I never, and I get calls, whether they're here, when I'm here, or at home, or cell, or whatever. I never had a complaint about a Mahoning County road, never.
No, we're
I
certainly
had
not perfect,
complaints,
but they have gotten
but they weren't-
way better.
they
Really,
were
They've done
not-
really good this year.
They weren't on Mahoning County roads. Not, our roads were clean.
Thank you again,
So,
Commissioners.
Kudos to your staff.
Item D, Commissioners, is a resolution authorizing the lease agreement with Workshop East TWI for the space at Mahoning Valley Campus of Care.
Yes, exciting times at the campus of care. It's really exciting to see that this vision that we had many years ago is starting to all come together for the wraparound services for our most underserved population. And once this is all put in place, we're going to have tours out there so that the general public could actually go out and see what a wonderful campus this is. I'm so proud of my colleagues and the Port Authority and the prosecutor's office and Audrey and everybody that works on this. The love that's in this project, and it's not easy, but the love that's put in this project is just unbelievable. So thank you. And thank everybody, Audrey. EMA.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is an approval for emergency work done on the Sirens by BNC Communications.
That's not gonna make the one by my house louder, is it? It's only 100 feet away from my.
Well, Dave, we're working on getting it more directed at your house so that you know it goes.
The only time it ever bothered me was when it was stuck on and it went around in circles for it seemed like an hour, but it was probably about 5 minutes. My dog learned how to sing from it, though.
Okay, then. F, Human Resources.
Good
Karen?
morning, Commissioners. Good morning, everybody. This is a resolution to authorize Medical Mutual of Ohio to release specific information to the Auditor of State for the county's annual audit.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Karen. Number 2, resolutions A through F. Do I hear a motion?
A motion to approve resolutions A through F.
Second,
Roll call.
Commissioner Trafficant.
yes.
Commissioner Ditzler.
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati.
Yes. Call to the order. Anybody, elected officials or anyone like to say a few words before we adjourn? Pat?
Just real quickly, I didn't know if I should say anything because I'm not on the agenda, but I just wanted to thank you for hearing them talking about your progressive thinking, your forward thinking. You've helped the Oak Hill Collaborative and everybody in the city and the county with this fight we have on the digital divide. And we're doing a lot of good work up there, and hopefully we're going to be able to go out to the rest of the county. We kind of focused in the city because there's a great need of digital education there. And now we're going to the county because they have not only the same need for digital education, but with Eastgate and others, the broadband ability to have the superstructure that's going to allow people to even have access. So we're working closely with them, and we're continuing the good work. And I just wanted to thank you guys for your help here.
Thank
It's been a great
Thank you,
support.
Pat.
Thank you.
That's forward thinking. broadband and getting the digital market through all of Mahoning County.
You're proud of
The
me.
dead areas and everywhere that we could help our people, especially our young people that can't really afford some of the things that some of us can't. So that's a good thing. Anybody else? Anthony, Dave, you have anything?
I'll get it out.
Anthony, Dave?
Oh, just sum up everything, you know, we heard it all today. Glad to see the success and progress that we're making. And I too, Pat, want to congratulate your team for tackling these roads and these snowstorms. You know, if any of you have ever been behind a plow, it's not easy. How far down do you set the blade? How do you know you're not pulling over by somebody's mailbox? How do you not hit the car in the next lane? Snow's bad, they're out there. And your team has done a wonderful job. So, you know, to all your guys, Teamsters, everyone in your office, they just did an exceptional job. These storms were serious. That ice, I had this much ice in my driveway.
Wow.
And I broke a shovel, dummy me trying to chip it, it just bang. So just my credit to you and how you handled everything. Yeah,
That was the shovels all I broke.
you didn't break the Kubota, did you?
No, my elbow.
Oh, that's right, he fell.
But,
Where's your sling?
hey, don't be my wife now, you know, it's like, I'm not allowed to ask that question. I don't have to answer that because of HIPAA. But no, Pat, you know, and I'm talking about, the only bad thing of doing such a great job clearing the roads is it exposes the potholes. Now, on New Road between Meridian and Orkney, you know, we need those potholes patched, because I can't avoid them. You know, you need to get out there today and fill them with something. Even if you fill them with Carol and Anthony, you gotta fill them potholes.
And you know what,
So-
I have to thank you on behalf of the city for doing Industrial Road. I really do. I mean, I don't know how many
I don't think you're
times,
allowed to repeat that.
well, I'm just thanking him, and I would repeat that to anybody, but I do want to thank you because
We
that
had to
was,
address it. They were
They
between
had
shift
to.
change and there's too much industry that goes up and down that road.
It's
And
just deep, Pat.
every county
Same.
office fuels up there and you
Right.
get two of the three largest fleets in the county between sanitary and engineers riding that. So we had to help them out.
because as I was at sanitary leaving one day, I hit that big one coming out of that lot. And I did, I know, I'm gonna be like a regular city resident. I did complain.
Well, the,
So,
you know, the other bad thing too is when you get the weight of this type of snow. I
oh,
mean, it's gonna take mailboxes down. People think you hit the mailboxes, you don't. The weight of the snow does, you know, and you can't avoid that. And
We have a
people-
crew that specifically goes out and repairs and replaces mailboxes. And just the other day, they did over 90 in one day.
Wow.
And, you know, it seems like people are starting to understand that it's not deliberate, it's not intentional.
Yeah.
And like you brought up a great point, the heavier the snow, the more damage you're gonna see to the mailboxes.
I saw online yesterday when I was watching the national news of a plow going down. And it was on a roadway that was by an overpass. And the ice that was flying over the overpass was breaking windshials
Oh
of cars
my
coming
That
God.
down.
happened on the turnpike.
That happened.
Same thing.
Yeah, and so, I mean, it just can't be
How do
avoided.
you do that?
And I remember when I put my stone mailbox in at the end of my drive, because my mailbox went down every year, you know, and I put a stone mailbox in and the administrator for the township dockery said, you're not allowed to put that stone mailbox on the right of way. I said, yes, I am, just as long as I move it if you need the right of way, right? So I put it up, and that's the only thing that saved my mailbox all these
We'll
years.
check, make sure it's in the right place.
Did you build it out of granite?
Oh, it's, let me tell you, it is cement block.
There
and
you go.
stone.
There you go.
Cement block and stone. Me and a buddy of mine did it. We put posts in, rebar, poured it, block, stone on the outside.
So Pat,
And,
don't worry, they'll never hit that one, will never go down if you hit it.
You need the ones on that arm that go like this.
And I will tell you too, is, you know, talking about, you know, the cooperation that we have in Mahoning County with elected officials and crews and staff, and, you know, how noticeable it is I had to go to Warren yesterday and I was waiting for to pick up. Actually, it was like 4 o'clock. I went to Tom Duma Jewelry's. I was picking up my chain that broke and they had an hour to go. I went to the Mocha House and sat there. And I worked in Warren for 25 years. So I was sitting in the Mocha House and probably half a dozen people walked in that I used to see there. And I would say that every person that walked in that knew me, probably 5 or 6, came up to me and said, hey, can we bring your commissioners up to Trumbull County? You know, you guys seem to get so much done and get along so well. And I said, well, you know, everything, all water finds its own level. Yours will smooth out too. And they would just shake their head and, you know, and give me a story and, you know, I just, you know, so I just thank all of my colleagues for the cooperation we have collectively, because at the end of the day, it's all about working on behalf of the residents of Mahoning County. And if we don't work together, we don't accomplish that objective. And if we don't accomplish that objective, there's no reason for us to be here.
Yeah, shouldn't be.
That's exactly correct. Kudos.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, hearing nothing else, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Commissioner Chafficanty?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes, next meeting, Nance,
Next Thursday, right here.
February 17th, 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.